And welcome to Iacon Underground Radio. This is Jen.
I'm Alex.
And David.
For the week of February the 17th, that's the Wednesday this week. Later in the show, we will have a special guest, Ant from TFU.info, who is at Toy Fair this weekend. And he will be answering some questions and giving us some hands-on information. But first, we have some pre-Toy Fair news to discuss. All right, so the pre-Toy Fair news, there wasn't a whole lot. Apparently, according to the guys over at RFC, the person who has been leaking pictures was actually leaking stuff half an hour before the Hasbro panel.
Gotta get rid of this stuff before it's worthless.
Why even bother? Because even over the past few days, there was we're recording on the Saturday of Toy Fair, and we finally got pictures of Astro Train and Hardhead and Scourge a few days ago, full color pictures. Not the weird grayscale leaker dude who we're all ignoring now.
You hear that, leaker dude? Shunned. You are shunned.
Yeah. Jen, did your headphones die again?
Oh, actually, I muted myself to cough, and then I forgot to unmute myself. I apparently need more coffee tonight. And yeah, a lot of that stuff was released through this Hasbro Pulse thing, which is apparently some new news initiative of theirs.
Yeah, well, they've been doing it for a while. We just keep forgetting to check it because the updates are so infrequent.
They update in a Pulse-like fashion.
Yeah.
It's just update and then nothing. And
apparently all the fan votes are going to go through that website from now on, because apparently they care more about getting people onto Hasbro Pulse than they do about getting people onto the Transformers app. So,
okay. Well,
shrug.
Yeah, the Transformers app was kind of interesting.
No, I respectfully disagree. There's nothing interesting about it.
Well, that's good, because I never had a smartphone good enough to actually use it.
Yeah, I just upgraded from my old Nexus 4, and, I mean, it wasn't that the Nexus 4 couldn't run it, it was just, the whole thing seemed kind of it was just really loud and overdone. It was overcooked. It's just, there was just way too much to it to even bother with. So yeah, but I found it amusing that in the little press release about it, and this is nothing against the artist who did that art, but it referred to the art as dynamic, which is pretty much exactly the last word I would use to describe it, because it was literally just straight-on shots of these characters standing there.
Yeah,
they're
dynamic
in 3D modeling T-poses.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, like I said, there's definitely, there are good things to be said about that kind of art, but dynamic isn't one of them.
No, it's very much it kind of looks like most of the art has just been flipped. Like you only had to draw half a robot.
That could be it, but yeah, apparently.
He is doing a bit of different lighting on the left side versus right side.
Oh yeah, the lighting's really nice, but the line work is mostly flipped.
Yeah, I can see him doing that.
Well, if they're making them symmetrical, there you go. Additionally, we have information about a new game, a mobile game, another new exciting free-to-play mobile game initiative.
Apparently it's been in beta for a while. There are some impressions from people who have played the beta on Android online. Turns out it's a Transformers skin for games like Clash of Clans, Game of War, microtransaction social battle game where you're encouraged to spend more and more money to keep yourself safe and to attack your opponents.
Yay! Yeah, my least favorite game genre.
I've seen the phrase attached to it that traditional games are for Christmas, free-to-play games are forever.
Yeah,
as far as revenue, that seems to be the intent, but...
That's just a really weird statement. That's something you would say in-house, but saying that to the public seems weird.
Shades of Stephanie McMahon talking about how the future of marketing is philanthropy.
It's a little much to how the pudding is made.
Yeah. So, that exists. It'll be free to play. I'm sure it'll encourage you to spend money on it, so... in a few months you'll probably be able to check that out for yourselves.
Yeah.
The graphics look good and the trailer actually looks really nice. It had me sitting there thinking to myself, gosh, this would have been mind-blowing 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And it still looks really cool, but G1 as heck. And visually I'd still say it's really cool, but I was more reflecting on, wow, just how much the medium of computer graphics has advanced in that time.
Well, also it's really Combiner Wars, because there's a weird model of Ironhide that's just First Aid flipped around, which seemed weird.
Yeah, the card game that they had looked like it had some interesting art, but yeah, that also got to that. It's just not a great game model.
Yeah, it's not a game model we exactly want to play much.
Yeah,
maybe a little.
So, the other weird news that seems to be for a very specific market, of which I am not sure I am part, is that there's going to be an album.
It's amazing. It feels too late, and yet I still want it.
I'm admittedly in my old age, I'm sort of leaning more towards the indie folk side of hipsterism, but it's a bunch of bands that I've never heard of, and Bush, who I was pretty sure broke up 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think I'd heard of Bush. I haven't heard of any of these other people, but then I haven't actually listened to the radio since 1999, so I don't know anything about music.
I do listen to the radio, though, like I said, in my old age, actually my favorite station is this weirdly public radio alt-rock station out of rural Virginia. College Virginia, as opposed to Northern Virginia. And they do tend to verge a little more towards the indie folk side of things, but yeah, this is, okay. The track list features, the bands featured are Mount Holly, Bush, Crash Kings, Mew, El Rey, which is Ellerae, and I was almost excited for a second, and I realized it wasn't El King, who is actually pretty good. Spurs, which, like Mew, is also in all caps, Jameson Burt, Hours, Darby, which has a little TM at the end of it, and Born Cages. And, yeah, listening to it, this seems like a sort of attempt to ingratiate themselves to that sort of college age, maybe like frat bros without really good taste.
I think it's better taste than the first Transformers first live-action Transformers movie soundtrack that had Linkin Park.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
Step above that, but at least, one or two of the songs are already out, and were used, at least one of them was used in the trailer for the game we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that this is about on par with the stuff that came out with the movies, but this really feels like it's coming out in, it's being put out by Sony Music Entertainment, and it really feels like just a bunch of bands that Sony Music wanted to promote.
Kinda, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Oh, I wonder if this started its life as maybe a soundtrack for the other game we never got.
That could be.
The MMO that didn't happen. Because, music sometimes tends to hang around a while. You make an album before something actually happens. It happens, and maybe they've had 10 songs sitting around that are vaguely Transformers related. They have to put them out somehow.
I don't know if Sony would have been involved with that specifically. No. I mean, hasn't Sony been, I know Sony did the last DVD release of Transformers the movie. So maybe this is just one of those things, and I think Sony Music put out the last time the original soundtrack was re-released.
I think,
as opposed to not including the Record Store Day release, which
I want that, but I'm never going to get that one.
Hey, I could pick it up for you, because I decided one day, because I live in Columbus, Ohio, which is a pretty decent sized city. And I was out and about and had some Christmas money. I was like, I'm going to track that down. So I tracked it down. Took me 2 whole record stores to find one that still had copies of it in December. And I sat there looking at it. It was $40. And I realized, see, I thought, well, it was 2 discs.
Yeah.
It's 2 records. And I thought, well, I guess the first one is the soundtrack. I can't imagine that the second one is music that I don't already have in some form, because I have all the CDs that 3H put out through Iacon back in the day. So I've got the actual movie score. I have the one of piano versions of the music of the score done by Vince DiCola, which is
are beautiful, and we've started using as theme music.
Yes, and the one that was just random demo stuff. And you know, I've got pretty much anything I could imagine putting on that second record. But what it turned out to be was that they had just drawn out, because, I mean, you can do this with any media, but they had drawn out the album, which is barely over half an hour album. They had drawn it out and put it on 2 discs. So the first...
So wait, it's on like 245s then, right?
I guess...
Did they not put anything on the backs of them?
I'm wondering if just the space between the grooves as it spirals around is just, like, really big.
Were they actually in the shape of the faction shields?
No, but they did have them. One was red and one was purple, and they had it, like, etched into the vinyl. So they did have the faction shields in the vinyl.
Okay.
But it did have that same feel that this has, where I am not the audience, where the audience for this is people who are still at that sort of like, oh man, G1 is awesome level without being like too critical of things.
I'm still a bit in that category. At least in musical terms, because I don't have the music collection you do.
Yeah, considering it's pretty much all like out of print and rights are up in the air. But yeah, like I said, if you need me to, I'll head over to Used Kids next time I'm down by campus. Pick one up for $40.
Maybe I'll have to look around here. I don't know if there are any musical places, but anyway.
As far as Transformers rollout, there's no way I'd pay retail price for it, but I would pay retail price in a heartbeat for a documentary about how the hell this happened.
Yeah, that would be interesting. In other news, we've got a new, a rather interesting new subscription service toy. Well,
for one thing, there's going to be more subscription service.
Yeah.
Apparently.
How long is that, or like when is that slated for?
Yeah, I believe
it's slated for the end of this year.
Okay.
Yes, because it's in the latest issue of the magazine, which I don't have yet. But they're not committing to next year yet, is what I'm saying. All right, but yes, there's one where they took they made a Pretender shell for the last BotCon set, which was a gorilla, which I think wasn't that based on some Pretender concept art? Yeah, the double Pretender, which was the old idea is it was a monkey and a giant spider that never got made, but they had 2 little robots that went inside them. So that they made a new Pretender monkey mold similar to the original design that they'd stuffed Swerve and a little jet gun in. Well, Swerve repainted gray and purple as Oilmaster.
Yes, and his little jet buddy that came with the retail Swerve toy. So now they have repainted that Swerve as Optimus Prime, with a very sort of, I guess, late G1. My gut instinct was to say G2, but I guess late G1 paint deco with flames on them.
Yeah, wasn't there like a GoBot Optimus that was like that color?
Wasn't there like some movies or something?
That too also had black with a flame.
No, GoBot Optimus was just straight red.
Oh.
And it is kind of Laser Rod Optimus-y with the largely black vehicle mode.
Yeah. So it is sort of late G1/G2-y. And I think my favorite part of it, I mean, there is the the joy of that he is a truck and a monkey at the same time. But
Monkey truck!
I really like that the little jet guy is high Q.
Yeah.
He's just high Q. And that makes me happy because I like stupid things like high Q.
He looks really high Q-y. I'm surprised.
Yeah. So we've got the subscription service Prime, movie dates.
Paradron Medic, which is just a half-painted RC.
Yeah. Other news. Now, technically, this is Toy Fair news, but I don't think we're really going to go into it that much with the actual Toy Fair coverage. But they have announced some dates for the upcoming movies. Yay.
Movies, plural.
Movies.
3 at once. One a year.
Apparently,
This does not seem like it could possibly go wrong.
This doesn't seem sustainable. Yeah.
So we've got Transformers 5 coming out, and then we've got Transformers 6, which is listed as the Bumblebee movie. And
Just
then
reminds me of that old Seinfeld movie, The Bee Movie.
which apparently is some sort of cult, like, I won't say cult classic because it seems to be more on the level of like The Way The Room is a cult movie. But apparently like teenagers and the younger crowd are really, really amused by Bee Movie.
Like, doesn't a bee fall in love with a woman in that movie or something?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's the plot of the Bumblebee movie. It's like a prequel where Bumblebee falls in love with a human girl or something, and that's how he loses his voice.
I mean, it's kind of interesting because Bumblebee is barely a character. I mean, no one is really much of a character in the Michael Bay movies.
But Bumblebee he's mute.
Yeah, so it's gonna have to be a prequel, or he's gonna have to get a voice, because the first Bay movie proved that you can't have just Bumblebee as a mute character. They had to throw in Prime and everybody else after half an hour because it doesn't work.
I mean, I thought they did okay with him in Prime, but he could maybe carry an episode here or there.
Yeah.
He also had a human buddy to treat him like R2-D2.
Exactly. I've heard, I don't know how reliable this is, but I've heard that it's supposed to be like an origin movie, which would mean nothing but robots on Cybertron.
No, that's what we would want.
Well, yeah.
But origin might be,
well, no.
He arrives on Mars, and how does he get to Earth? What
I would want would be a charming, like, rescue heroes level cartoon. That's what I would want out of an entirely Bumblebee driven movie. At least, movieverse Bumblebee, not like any of the many better incarnations of the character.
I'd rather have a Ratchet solo movie, but oops, he's dead.
Michael Bay. So yeah, it looks like we're unfortunately going to be putting up with those every year.
Yeah, that seems like they're every studio's trying this now, and I think this is where it hits critical mass. Like, a Marvel movie every year, there's enough variety in things. You can do that. Maybe an X-Men movie every year we might be able to pull off. Deadpool sounds pretty good, and I haven't seen it yet, though.
I've heard
Transformers, no.
Well, I think you could, but I don't think that you can. I mean, at this point, honestly, they have a lot to prove to me.
Yes.
There is a silver lining that Michael Bay and Mark Wahlberg are only attached to the first one so far.
Yes. Well, 'cause I don't think Michael Bay could direct all three in quick enough succession.
I think he could try. It's not like he needs a script, as the second one proved.
Yeah. I think the second one proved he does need a script.
Well, he needs one, but he's still...
He can still produce a movie-shaped object without one.
Yes.
Movie-shaped object.
He clearly feels that they're extraneous. So, yeah, that's a thing. That's all the... Did we have any other additional news to cover?
I think that's it, but Hasbro's press release is kind of implying the Bumblebee origin story thing, saying it will tell the never before heard story of Bumblebee, one of the most beloved characters from Hasbro's Transformers universe.
That's because he couldn't tell it because he was mute. That's why you haven't heard it.
Well, Jazz could have told it. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If it's a
Ratchet could have told. Oh.
If it's an origin prequel, we could have some of the characters who are all dead now again.
That'd
Jazz
be
could
nice.
actually do something.
Other than be horrifyingly racist.
And get torn in half.
Dad
Well, yeah.
And then casually discarded after a memorial speech.
You just said bitches.
Yes. He was horrifying.
Yeah. Well, no, he was not compared to the twins. The twins are just entirely.
I was just about to say, they could have Bumblebee leading Skids and Mudflap.
Oh no. Oh. Well, yeah, but if it's a prequel, it'd be before they learn about Earth culture, and that would be acceptable because they wouldn't have adapted their characteristics from watching YouTube or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let's stop talking about the movies. It's making me depressed.
Let's move on to
Instead, let's talk about Toy Fair.
Yeah. All right. And joining us today, we've got our friend Ant from TFU.info. They are the longest running toy identification site. They have actually, they're my favorite place to go when I need to pair up toys with accessories, for eBay and to, verify whether the listing I'm going to mark as complete is actually complete. Also, if you go to his site, and I'll be linking this on our accompanying blog post on iaconunderground.net, he has a list of over 2,000 toys that they still need pictures of, most of which were actually things that came out in the last 10 years. So if you're somebody, especially if you like getting limited editions, getting little niche releases like that, he could absolutely use some pictures of them for the site. So here we are. All right, we had just finished. We were talking about that great album that's coming out.
Oh, come on, it's Bush and a bunch of people you've never heard of, and then you go, Bush is still together?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had heard of any of them, because you have, there are certain areas where our musical tastes don't overlap, so.
Oh, I have no idea who any of those artists are.
No, I was just happy when I read it. It's like, a new album with Bush. Oh, God. Oh, it's not Stan. Yes.
It would have been great if it was Bush covering Stan Bush. I'd be all in on that one.
That would be okay.
I do have to say, though, that that's the point where if you went back in time and told 16-year-old me all this stuff, the moment that you told her that there was going to be an album put out where Bush did a song about Transformers, I would just be like, no, you're making all this stuff up, go away. I had my Bush period. Not like super hardcore or anything, but, you know, I had their albums.
What if it's not that Bush, but the presidential father-son duo decided to try their hands at music?
Well, it'd be something better for Jeb to do than run for president. But.
Yeah.
Probably be better at it, too.
Yeah.
So, how was Toy Fair?
Toy Fair was different, to say the least, this year. It was good. It was a good time. There's usually a really strong energy to it because it's it's kind of been controlled chaos in the past few years, and I think this year it's a little bit. They switched marketing firms and PR companies, and they did a better job of kind of splitting people into groups and doing a couple things differently that made it a lot more controlled, but also a lot more intimate. So it was good in that sense. As far as reveals go, there weren't a lot of surprises, but it was nice to see a lot of it in person. There was a lot more surprises on anything that wasn't Generations, and overall it was Toy Fair. There's always something fun.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the PR firm was that involved with it. I thought it was really just the in-house people.
Well, now there's an in-house group in Hasbro, which there wasn't before. So up until a couple months ago, it was Hunter PR that handled all the PR for Transformers, and now it's Hasbro supplemented by another outside PR firm. But there are specifically Hasbro employees that do this, that help put this on now.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the announcements of Hasbro participating more in conventions?
I did get a chance to ask John Warden and one of the PR people from Hasbro about conventions in 2017, and they didn't say no. They just said they were keeping their options open, and that's really all they could say. And which is a pretty big answer. I actually recorded that interview. I have to go through it, but that'll appear somewhere. That interview with John Warden. It was that was the other thing they did with us that was different. So usually they have their presentation, and then you go downstairs to the showroom, which is downstairs in the building, and it's basically the entire lower level. And Hasbro has all their brands there. And this year, instead of doing that, they broke us into two groups. The green group, which was what I was in, got to go downstairs first, and the other group stayed upstairs and got to chat and record their conversations with whatever team members they wanted to talk to that were up there. And then halfway through, they switched. So the second half of the day, myself, it was basically like myself and Ben Yee and one of the guys from Allspark and one of the Lucas brothers and Thylacine, a bunch of us just basically getting to talk to John Warden and ask him about a half hour, 40 minutes worth of questions. And it was pretty good.
Nice. So let's start with the Robots in Disguise stuff.
Okay.
Just to get that, I don't want to say get it out of the way because I'm not, we're generally not the sort of people who are like, oh, it's stupid or whatever.
No, actually, going to your other podcast, it's the closest thing to Beast Wars we've had since Beast Machines.
Huh, how so?
Yeah.
I guess.
These characters, they're trapped on a planet that they can't get off of.
I guess I should have. I should have thought that through a little
That's
better.
close. Well, animated was kind of similar too, but
yeah.
But this is more so since it's in 3D.
And also because it's got animal people.
Yes, animal.
So just to jump to your question that you sent me on Twitter, I did ask about Finch, and no luck there yet. But Ben God, I'm going to remember his name. I'm going to say it wrong. But Ben, the marketing guy at Hasbro, he kind of runs RID on top of it, and he's like, I'm thinking into season 18. He likes to think really far out. He was joking around. So I just made him aware that there's a following for Finch.
She's so
but
great.
There's nothing on the horizon there just yet.
She's a Corvid. I love Corvids.
Yeah, that's just fun.
So, actually, and this is sort of something that I scribbled down to ask, but David was taking a close look at the picture, so it looks like the new Windblade toy for Robots in Disguise is a pretty much completely new toy. Does that confirm what you saw there?
Yeah, I mean, to me it looked like a new mold. I'm going to pull up my picture here while I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Just,
Staring at the toy I already have in front of me, comparing it to the model of the new one, the only things that actually seem like almost identical are the sword and her hair fan. Everything else is just completely different design.
God, I hope the hair fans knew, because I totally broke one taking it out of the package. That one.
Ouch.
Yeah, you know what? And I have Slipstream right next to me, so I can kind of compare them straight on. Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, they're different. I'm just looking at the underside of the wings, and they're completely different. So those are definitely new.
Yeah, like the hips are similar in look, but their construction is different. Like
I would
eye swivel is there. And
I would say it's a new mold, but you never know with this group because Fortress Maximus is a remold, and if you had told me that, I would, unless one of the Hasbro designers didn't tell me that directly, I wouldn't have believed them.
Yeah.
So that's good because honestly, the original toy was all right and all, but it's a little fiddly, a little fall aparty.
Well, it's more that it's hard to get her to stand with her wings. She doesn't have enough heel support.
Yeah. So are we getting more cons in general, or is the toy line just going to be a whole bunch of bumblebees?
In general, no. There was only 2 bumblebees, I think, on display. One that came with the Platinum set, and another one that is kind of similar to the 5-step size. Mm-hmm. And the new, I don't, you know what, I really didn't get a chance to talk to the next Vin Diesel presenter who was, doing this. She was really nice though, but, she was demoing, the toys, and one of the size, there's that big Optimus that's coming out, the Power Surge Optimus, and then there's a Sideswipe and a Bumblebee that are roughly 5-step size, and they all interact with the new Minicon class, which is the Weaponizer Minicon class. Now those figures have a 5mm pull-out port, port post, I should say. They all have a 5mm post on them, so they can be used as a weapon, so they can kind of work with any of your Transformers at that point. And the Bumblebee and Sideswipe have these little holes on their chest, and you plug the 5mm post into that hole, and the figures have they have sounds, and they actually react depending on which figure you put in, have different sounds. So like if you, they plugged in the Triceratops figure, and he's like, to Sideswipe, and he says something along the lines of, now time for some dino something action. And I mean, it's this neat little feature. Plus they're 5mm, so they'll work with your Generations figures as well. And then the Optimus in that same size class, or the larger Optimus, the Power Surge, the 5mm port actually unlocks all of his flight features, and he has like a battle mask and flip out weapons. And it works almost similar. They attach to his chest, so it's almost like having a breast force redone.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was it's got that very, very sort of breast force gimmick going.
Well, that's nice, especially considering we are getting Leo Kaiser in a way. Now I can buy some little guys that they'll have friends, even if they can't attach to their chests anymore.
Did the Minicon seem to unlock any kind of character-specific dialogue, or did it only seem to be just Minicon activates voice trigger?
No, it's Minicon activates voice trigger with character-specific dialogue. I don't know if the dialogue is so specific that it calls out each character by name, because that's what the Hasbro reps had kind of made me feel. But when I heard it and then it was, time for dino action, I was like, oh, that's kind of a general statement, and you didn't say the character by name, so I think certain designs would probably have something on that post that tell it which sound to trigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Neat. So it sounds like they're going very, very much back to an Armada style of Minicons, with it actually like unlocking features.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty cool.
I'm
Especially
really surprised just to hear about them doing sound features in the first place. I thought those had been too expensive for a while now.
They're also doing one. There's going to be sound lights and sound inside of Fort Max, but we'll discuss that when we get to Generations, I guess. But they apparently are slanting that way towards doing stuff like that.
Awesome.
So does the that new RID Optimus Prime look as much like Thunderclash as the pictures have suggested?
Now, I have to look. It's so weird because you get so overwhelmed with the Generation stuff that you forget the RID stuff is there, and then you go over there and no one is there, and so you don't get a lot of information on it. I know I posted a photo. I'm just kind of dig through the Twitter feed here.
That white with the blue little wing.
He reminds me more, I mean, at least in design, in functionality of Cybertron Optimus Prime, because the wings kind of flip out from the back, and then things kind of fold upward, and he's got this battle mask that pops up when you activate his features. He has lights and sounds too. I'll just pull it up on my phone, but I couldn't say he looks a lot like Thunderclash, only that he's white and blue. Yeah. But, Thunderclash has, you guys said, 14 different colors?
Yes.
13.
Well,
it was counted to be 13.
It doesn't have quite as many, but he's got like 2 shades of blue, and there's the chest that kind of looks like wings.
Some of them are radiant.
You know what it is? So. He's got the white chest, white arms now that I'm looking at him, but that's more, I think, a symptom of the truck mode kind of unfolding around it. But, no, I wouldn't say he doesn't look. I mean, what you see in the picture is kind of basically what you saw there. He's 3 colors. I mean, you could splash some paint on him and make him Thunderclash.
Yeah, it's an easier redeco than some other things that'll make it sit for Thunderclash.
Now, a harder redeco looking at the battle mask would be Tarn.
Ooh.
Oh.
By the way, a question came up during the John Warden interview about doing Nautica, and he said, the IDW characters are always on his radar, and the 2 he called out by name, but he didn't say they were being done. There was no confirmation of anything, but the fact that he kind of just mentioned them was interesting. Someone asked about Overlord, and he kind of also said, I would love to do one. it's not, there's no plans at the moment, but it never say never. And then he said, characters like him or Tarn. So I'm surprised you kind of name dropped Tarn there, but take what from that what you will.
Oh man. So before we get to the main course, let's clean up the last of Combiner Wars. It looked like Victorion's colors were not as garish as we had seen before.
Yeah, and it didn't just look like it was a lighting difference, it looked like they'd changed the deco.
You know what, I don't know offhand because I wasn't I wasn't at San Diego, so I didn't get to see her. This is the first time I saw her in person. It didn't seem garish. It's funny because she was kind of shoved into the corner behind the rest of the generation stuff.
Oh,
So I'm just wondering if the lighting was a little dark there, that what you might be seeing is just where it was. So if you saw the pictures, basically when you walk into the booth area, all the main generation stuff was all on one big table as a display. And then there was a smaller table to the right of that with the Platinum Edition exclusives that are coming out. And then against the back wall there were two shelves with packaging, and then Victorion was underneath those two shelves. So, because she's kind of old news, so I think they kind of just stuck her in the corner.
She still hasn't come out, and there aren't that many pictures of her online, but the contrast of the pictures we'd seen before of the hand-painted one, like the sort of greenish blue and the magenta seem like the same color value. Now, the pictures we're seeing, unless it's just the lighting, the greenish blue is like more faded into a gray.
Yeah, it's less saturated and a bit later than it looked in the previous photos.
Yeah.
And I even pulled it into Photoshop to try to match it, and it did definitely have more variation, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I would say the colors you saw today might be more accurate just because that area was well lit, better lit than, say, the RID area where it was lit, but it was really hard to take pictures, especially at, like, the Minicom table. That area over there, like where the packaging was and where Victorian was it just responded better on camera, so you may have something fairly close.
All right, well, I guess we will move on to what people will stop asking questions about all the weird things that nobody cares about.
Well, I care. There's a Scorponok. We care about a new Scorponok.
Yeah,
that's true. I was
like
going
he has a
to
Fu
ask
Manchu.
you. Did they show the season 2 trailer, or was that just a press release sort of thing?
No, they showed the season 2 trailer. They said it's available online right now, so I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yes.
You found it on the LA Times website.
Yeah.
Yes. And it looks like there's a new, like, lady Decepticon who's, like, hanging around.
Yeah, they did not mention any names there. But yeah, they're from the trailer. That definitely looks like something important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was her. She's unnamed. There's Scorponok, which we've seen a toy of from the show. And there was a Beetle guy, too. I think those were the only noticeably new ones in the trailer.
I thought I saw a recolor of Steeljaw, but it may have been just Scorponok in one shot. It was pretty quick.
Oh, no, that was, the wolf guy. What was his name? He was in one episode. He didn't have any lines.
Oh, no, sexy dude.
No, he was the brown one.
Oh, no, he was like a Puma or something.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, he was just in one episode, but apparently...
Yeah, Windblade beat him up, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like I said, Ben from the Hasbro, I'm going to look up his name because I interviewed him back in October. Ben Montana, that's it. Ben Montano had mentioned to me that, again, like he said, he said something about season 3. In season 3, I was like, is there going to be a season 3? He goes, no, I just think that far out. So there's definitely at least season 3 in his mind.
Yeah, I wish they would make more Decepticons because they have this huge array of designs, but
yeah.
Oh well.
We're getting at least Quillfire and Bisk, I think, or besides
Bisk.
These guys.
Yeah. Well, the fact Bisk was there, he wasn't in the presentation during the Hasbro slideshow. They did not show Bisk, and he was just like I had to ask what the name was because I couldn't remember, but that means we're just one step closer to getting an official Seafood Lewis.
It'll be his redeco. So did you have anything else significant about RID you wanted to mention?
There were a couple more. Well, there were a couple more mini compacts. Currently, like what we're getting now, not just the mini comps, but the 4-pack. There's a 4-pack of Weaponizers coming. There's also a redeco of the new Sideswipe with a new mold. included with him, and I believe there was a strong arm in that group. Yeah, there's a strong arm also in that new size class, and she comes with Sawtooth, which is a clear blue Minicon bird-like thing. So there's a lot going on there. And also the Platinum Edition. There's going to be a Platinum Edition Rid 2-pack. It's going to be redecoed Bumblebee and Grimlock, the War for Cybertron remold from Japan in RID colors.
Huh. That's neat.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the first Platinum set they've done that hasn't been, or have they done some that haven't been G1 other than that?
Offhand, I can't think of one. No, they did a couple in Prime. They did the Platinum Ultra Magnus. That was a Prime figure.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
But it's the first one they're doing for RID, which is probably the bigger thing.
Yeah. All right, so Titans Return. I noticed that Fort Max does have the most important detail that a Fort Max toy should have, which is that his legs have guns.
Yes.
like Trailbreaker. Oh, poor Trailbreaker. Was so fond of noting. So yeah, that I heard that they're selling him as being the new biggest toy. So I guess he's probably a little taller than Metroplex.
Probably a touch taller. He is a drastic remold of Metroplex. That was the one thing that I came away from. That apparently I know Cheetah Mist was there for Allspark, and he had mentioned that I guess Metroplex's knees are on the back of Fort Max's arms, which I have to see and compare to look, but that's what he told me. It's like, did you notice that Metroplex's knees are on the back of his arms? So that's something worth digging through. The figure itself looks nothing like Metroplex, despite being a drastic remold. I think the waist is the same, and it's just turned around. The knee guns are great.
Yeah, I noticed the waist and the hips, and that looked sort of similar, but yeah, other than that.
I think the feet are
now I see it.
too.
So the runways on the back of Metroplex of Ultra Magnus's shoulders are probably the same pieces that are Metroplex's knees.
Oh.
But the runways on his legs, the ones that flip up.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
that's.
would
I mean,
love
he's.
to see them side by side to compare.
But alas, no giant treads on his back.
No giant treads. Leg guns look great. And then the funny thing is they have him in base mode, and like the deluxes and everything fit on him really well. And then they did kind of a shout out to Micromasters by making him being able to connect via ramps to the other leader class figures.
Yeah, I read that, and that seems pretty awesome. That's gotta be great if you're a kid whose family has just huge piles of money.
Well, we do make 30% of their market now. The older figures.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, which is also interesting.
One of the other things came out of the John Warden interview, which I have to go out and check. But I'm pretty sure he said on Fort Max, somewhere on his base mode, is the caution sign from Hot House, which was a deliberate callback to Micromasters.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
So so he's really gone out to try to make some references to Micromasters. Someone did ask about Micromasters being a next possible step.
That would be pretty cool. Though, do we have a price point for him?
No, but he's Titan class, so I would presume it's $150.
Okay.
But he does have lights and sounds, which could vary. $100 on Black Friday, most likely somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if that was going to push it up towards the 200 realm. But I guess we'll find out once he starts coming out. So apparently he does have the head that comes off and has a head that comes off.
Yeah. Do you have any insight into the head within a head being named Emissary?
They said, or they had joked about Spike during the presentation, but I guess Emissary is a callback to the original Rid, right? I feel like the head there was called Emissary. I'd have to go back and look, but no other insight other than like using Emissary, using Spike.
But angsty blonde Spike is my favorite Spike.
Yeah, well, you can use Buster because Buster's a dog.
mean, I have to admit that was the point in original Robots in Disguise where I just could not even stand to keep watching the show anymore by the time they were involved with Grand Maximus. And yeah, so apparently...
Digging through TF Wiki, Emissary is definitely the head mode from Brave Max and Rid Fortress Maximus.
But it was the middle head, not the small head.
Was the small head Cerebros?
Yeah, the small head was Cerebros.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense.
But the middle head is supposed to be Cerebros.
You can call it whatever you want.
But how would he look if you took his head off and put a balled-up Retrax in its place?
Oh yeah, is he about the same, or is he actually taller than the original Fort Max?
He is taller than the original Fort Max, but the head might be proportional.
Hmm.
Yeah, he seems a bit less like his... He seems like his head is more, I don't know, smaller in proportion to the rest of him.
Well, the original head was just kind of big on this chunky body. He's a little slimmer now.
Yeah.
He's been
So
to the gym.
as opposed to original Scorponok, who is a pinhead.
Oh, poor little Scorponok.
Because they went in the opposite direction with him. And it looks like the whole year is just going to be 87 nostalgia.
Pretty much. They're celebrating the movie, so they're kind of going 86, 87 by default, and they're really making some deep dives, which is nice after all these years of 84, 85.
So that is a conscious thing, that it's intending to celebrate the movie, and I guess immediately afterward.
Yep.
So it feels like after Combiner Wars being such an 86 thing, it feels like they're going through and just replaying G1 chronologically.
I don't know, because I don't know how much people are going to jump on a Pretenders bandwagon.
It might be a little harder these days, but you never know.
So, we'll see if Tarantulas from Sins of the Wreckers has anything to say about that.
Speaking of which, it did come up during our conversation with John Warden about Beast Wars and their 20th anniversary, and one of the things he said, there were no other plans for this year other than Optimus Primal, Year of the Monkey Optimus Primal, but they also consider the anniversary to encompass the entirety of Beast Wars, so there could be there could be more within the next year or the next 5 years.
Okay. So they're still doing the G1 this year, but so now with the Year of the Monkey Optimus Primal, is that going to be, what kind of release is that going to be?
It's a platinum figure, so I guess I would assume it's Toys R Us, but they didn't actually even talk about it at all. I'm surprised it wasn't even there.
Poor monkey. Poor monkey.
We want a
So
monkey.
I've heard, and I saw that there is a Chrome Dome.
Yes.
So he's a very G1 looking Chrome Dome, so I guess he can be Shadowplay Chrome Dome.
Well, when they introduced him during the slideshow, they cut in with a Valentine's Day slide, and then said, and then they showed the shot of him and Rewind from the back, sitting on the Lost Light, like looking out into space. And they kind of did that as 3 slides, because I remember there being 3 different panels in the book, so I had looked down to tweet something out right before that, and then what they had said was it was a IDW-style robot body, and a G1-styled car mode, so that's at least their perception of it.
Okay. I mean, I'm still, I can accept it as being like, the head is... Now, did they say anything about the head and how much it's pretty identical to the one that Fun Pub had done?
No, they did not even say the words Fun Pub, so, no.
Because and if you heard us discussing before how we were wondering if that, Hasbro basically owned that design, for it being made for Fun Pub or how that worked, but... Yeah, that makes me very happy. I do feel like we've come a pretty good way from them talking about how a Knockout had something wrong with him. So it's
Yeah.
So I've heard those the smaller headmasters, him and Brainstorm and Skullcruncher, etc. referred to as deluxes. So do we know what kind of price point they're talking about for them?
I would assume they're the $15 current deluxe price point. Those are
they comparable in? Are they like about the same size as the deluxe?
Yeah, they're about the same size. Yeah, they actually. That's another thing they talked about during the interview was Ben Yee had asked about the hollowness, because that seems to be something that's on a lot of people's minds, and he was trying to explain that part of that is also keeping the figures in a vertical scale with each other and keeping the price point the same, and so. So they definitely, they want deluxes to kind of all be roughly the same size throughout the current lines.
Okay, so they're going to be about that same size. It'll be, smaller. I don't know. You always remember the G1 toys being bigger than they actually are if you put them next to a modern toy. At least I do.
Well, the Headmasters were kind of tall-ish.
Yeah.
There's always the factor of they aren't bigger, you were just smaller.
Yeah, they're that.
No, but I'm thinking like the G1 Brainstorm that I had 2 years ago.
Oh.
Just sold when I was selling stuff.
Well, yeah, because we got a new Brainstorm recently who's taller than he ever was. And now we're getting another one, sort of.
We're getting 2 Brainstorms within a couple years of each other, guys.
Yeah, and the next one's going to be a remold of Blur, which is just weird.
By the way, they would not comment on Brainstorm or the Technobots or anything along those lines. Any of those recent leaks.
Aww.
Oh, of course
Technobots. What about Liokaiser?
Nope. We graciously thanked them without them saying anything, but no, they did not.
Thank you for Liokaiser.
Yeah, John Ward and Ben Montano could not talk about anything. They won't even use the names. They'll just say we can't speak about anything that's been leaked.
Huh, that is really interesting because the Technobots and Liokaiser would both sort of count in that Combiner Wars stragglers category.
It is kind of neat because they might come out before these guys, but they're not talking about them unless, the box sets, they just haven't found a place to sell them yet.
Yeah,
and they also mentioned that Combiner Wars, people asked that question too, kind of skirting around, well, Titan Wars is Combiner Wars going to be done, and is there going to be a place for those? They kind of skirted around the topic. So I'm guessing either Combiner Wars factors into the next part of the Prime Wars trilogy, or they're just going to keep Combiner Wars going through Titan Wars as an exclusive line or a gift set kind of line.
Yeah, they have. I noticed the Victorion picture that we were looking at talking about the color looks like it's a gift set. Did we know if they're going to get individual releases or if they're just going to be a gift set?
As far as I know, they were only going to be a gift set since they were announced. Though that and the 2 G2 combiners are all just gift set only, as far as I know.
What did they say? Did they mention anything? Did anybody ask when Victorion's ever coming out? Because it seems like forever.
Or where Victorion is coming out.
It's a good question. No, no one asked and no one said anything.
It sounds like they're putting. I mean, we mentioned before we had you on here about the Hasbro Pulse and how they seem to be really plugging that now. Did they mention, I know they were talking about how they want to do more fan polls through there. What did they say anything more about that?
Yeah, during the presentation they said basically all the fan polls are going to be done through Hasbro Pulse.
Did they say how frequently they were thinking about doing
them?
No,
they just said they spoke in very general terms about that. That was the first gentleman who was on, Daryl. His last name escapes me at the moment, but I guess he had come from the G.I. Joe line, but he had said that they were going to use Hasbro Pulse for most of their fan interaction, if not all.
Okay.
But he definitely said the polls and fan voting were going to take place on Hasbro Pulse.
Okay. So that's, they'll maybe start using that website a little more. And I know they probably didn't elaborate much on this, but I'm sort of curious whether that the adult collectors being 30% of the market now, if that means that our segment has grown or if that means the kids segment has shrunk.
Or if it just means there's a third option, and that's just that the collector-friendly stuff is 30% of the market, and it might still be going to kids.
They did not speak to those specific points. We did ask them a little bit about that. And they said that it allows them to get into these deep dives that we're currently getting, the deep cuts of characters that we wouldn't normally get with previous teams. They did not say, like how those stats are interpreted exactly. But, it's a good question because it could just be, they're selling less toys, but the collectors are buying more of the share of the toys. So I don't know offhand.
Or they're just counting more people as collectors, like people who grew up watching the live action movies, because they've been going for a while at this point.
Well, yeah, I think the collectors were considered 10 and up.
Ah, well, they may have lowered the number.
Yeah, I think that was what it was on the slide, 10 and over. I mean, I have to go back and look at that slideshow again, but I'm pretty sure that's where they considered the cutoff to be.
I mean, that sounds fine to me. I mean, even just looking at my own history with the brand, I tend to think of my entry into it as a, quote, adult collector starting when I got back into it around 14. So that seems reasonable enough. At 10 is the point when you're not mashing your toys together.
Yes. Yeah, if you're still buying and you're a preteen, you're a collector.
You're buying them to put on the shelf and to look cool, not to smash them together. So that's all I really had notes on. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts or suggestions? Or
is Mindwipe as cool as he looks in the stock photo?
Mindwipe. He looked pretty cool. I like that he has a bat mode. Some of those ones were pretty far back as far as where they were placed in the display. They did say he could hang upside down. I didn't quite get what the quote was, but I guess there's some feature on him that either he hangs upside down or his Vorath hangs upside down inside of him when he's piloting him.
Huh. That's interesting.
They definitely said something to that effect.
Well, also, he transforms wildly differently than the original G1 version because his wings become his legs in robot mode, which is engineering marvel.
So the little guys, are they just calling them Titan Masters?
Yes, the whole line is called. I mean, those little men are. Yeah, basically the idea is that they unlock the power in the robot, and the robot's the Titan, they're the Titan Masters. And the other thing they like promoting is that the heads are swappable throughout the line, throughout the size classes. So, whether you buy an individual $5 head or a deluxe class figure or have Fort and Maximus, you can swap the heads onto any of them.
Neat. I'm looking at a picture that Scott's, tweeted from Autobase Aichi, which has Fortress Maximus in like a base mode and has all the little Titan Master dudes just spread out around them. I presume that was a display that was there today.
That was the display that was there today. That was the entire thing.
It strikes me how colorful it all is.
Yeah.
So you think we're going back into the bright color phase of toys?
Well, yes, but also don't forget there are multiples of everything out there. So there's Vorath, which is purple, and Sentinel Prime's head, which is orange, and a couple of those just all sitting out there in multiple instances. So it might also be it that you're just seeing a lot of them at once.
That means a lot of little blue dudes.
Yes.
Yeah, so little blue dudes are probably Nightbeat from that they showed off during New York Comic Con, and that's one of the individual tiny heads.
So yeah, the tiny heads have vehicles, I guess? The
yes,
individual ones?
Yep, vehicles that turn into weapons. I believe they have 5mm ports that turn into weapons, and they also turn into other vehicles, if I remember from 6 months ago.
Okay. So it's almost kind of I'd say almost like an Action Master vehicle sort of thing, where it transforms but not into an actual robot.
Correct.
Okay. Did they give a price point for those? Is that like a Legends price?
Yeah, those are probably in the $5 to $10 range.
Okay. I'm interested in price points, apparently.
And also all the deluxe, just to point out, all the deluxe figures have driver seats for their Titan Master. So, like, I posted a photo of Chrome Dome with the canopy flipped up and Stylor inside, and that goes across the line on the larger sides. And Wheelie, for whatever reason, has one molded inside of him. That's
Yeah, but Wheelie doesn't have a head. Wait, how big is Wheelie? He's smaller than Deluxe?
He's Legends.
Yeah, Legends class.
Legends.
He's the only Legends class one I've really heard much about. What other ones are there?
I think there was Laserbeak, which is a redeco of the Buzzsaw, and there was a Rumble, which is a red redeco of Rewind.
That's right. Rumble. I'm sorry, I can't help but be a Rumble is Blue person.
Oh.
My headcanon is that they've switched places with one another to screw with people often enough that even they don't remember who's red and who's blue.
That seems reasonable.
Hopefully we get a Frenzy too at some point.
And also in that wave, though, they joked about it. They didn't show it. There was a silhouette of a Ravage head, which most likely is just Stripes redecoed, but I imagine Ravage will be in that wave as well.
Yay, Decepticon Secret Police.
Means he'll have little wings on his butt.
Aww.
Is an odd design on Stripes, but I guess it works.
Yeah, I'm also noticing in the picture of the big display that I can see Skull Cruncher, or what are they calling him?
They said Skull Cruncher. I know it's supposed to be Skull Smasher, I think, back in October, but they may have changed the name by then.
Okay. So it's like me and how I can't call Trailbreaker anything but Trailbreaker. But I noticed that he's got like a little seat, just like the G1 ones did, so it's not just the vehicles that have the little driver's spot.
Yeah, no, the smaller figures. It's everyone, and then also the smaller vehicle figures that come with just the heads.
Awesome. All right. So, any other bits and bobs?
Oh, right. There's a Galvatron too. I almost forgot about the Galvatron.
Oh, I noticed. I thought that was a Galvatron gun sticking from under this person's arm in this picture.
I guess he's a Titan Master too?
Yeah, Galvatron was announced back in New York Comic Con.
Oh, I just forgot.
He was one of the first ones. Yeah, he was one of the first ones. He's Voyager class, Titan Master. His head turns into a G1 Megatron-looking robot.
I do remember seeing that.
Why did I forget that? That sounds adorable.
And and he has a hidden vehicle mode, I believe. He turns into the cannon, and then he also has like a spaceship kind of mode, which I think is probably for some sort of redeco purposes down the line.
So as far as the fiction for these guys go, is it like the Japanese headmasters where the little dude is the robot and then the big body is just a body?
No, I don't know because we haven't seen any of the fictions, but the way they were saying it is the little robot controls a bigger robot, but they keep tying the names to old stuff, so I don't know. They said that IDW they've told IDW what they were going to do, and they don't really give them too much direction as to what to do.
Right.
But they try to drop hints like, hey, we're coming out with this figure, let's get them in somewhere or something along those lines. And so I don't know how the official fiction is going to play out for this as far as IDW goes, and since there's nothing else really, I couldn't tell you. I did post the card back to Blur. I haven't read it yet. I don't know if that'll give you any insight into the figure as well.
I didn't see that one yet. I reached a point with anytime there's news, anytime during Toy Fair, there's always a point where you just sort of have to accept that you're not going to be able to keep up with Twitter and just wait for the pictures to go up. So what were you saying, Alex?
I seem to be thinking, and maybe I'm just hallucinating this, the verbiage for the actual Titan Masters, the guys who turn into the heads, is that they unlock the power of the other robots. So maybe it's going to be more in tune with what's already kind of IDW canon for headmasters, where they aren't the robot, but they are kind of necessary for the robot to be at max power.
Well, just to read off of Blur's, I think Blur's 2-line text spec should probably give you an idea of what's going on here. And it's funny because his figure is named Hyperfire on the package, but called Haywire in the blurb. And it's the Autobots unite with Titan Master partners to power up for battle. Haywire boosts the speed of Blur even further. Some bots say even fast enough to outrun Blaster Fire.
Huh. Yeah, that sounds like a very, rebirth sort of use for them. So interesting.
Curious, is there any indication of what the Titan Masters Deluxes and Voyagers would look like if they didn't actually have the Titan Master partner on their head. Like, do they have any, oh no, I lost my thing compensation built in?
No, they are headless figures. The I lost my head compensation is go out and buy one of the $5 single heads.
Well, at least there's
fair enough.
I mean, that's better than G1, where you
Yeah.
were just SOL unless you were in Japan and could buy one of those tiny little individual boxed heads.
Yeah, we kind of got that now, yeah. Although, no, they all turn into robots so far, not into little animals. That's something that would be...
Well, and they're carded. The most adorable thing with the Japanese G1 ones was that they were in actual little boxes. All right,
Boxed
anything
head
else?
sounds like something that out of context would get you on a watch list.
Yes.
All right. All right, guys. So actually, I have to wrap it up. So I'm gonna pull myself off the interview.
Fair
All
enough.
right.
We seem to be
All right,
reaching
well-
a natural conclusion anyway. Thank you.
That's cool.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Ant.
No problem, guys. Anytime. And I'm actually really looking forward to the Stasis Bod on Crossing the Rubicon.
Aww. Gonna be a good one.
Now, before you go, do you
quote
want
me
to...
now? Best fight scene in the series.
Yes. What was that, Alex?
Now, before you go, do you want to plug TFU.info or anything, or give a self-description so we can edit that into an introduction sequence?
No, I mean, you guys can. It's TFU.info. It's the world's oldest transforming toy archive. And been around since 2002, and we're still going, and hopefully we'll be adding some more stuff soon. I would just, if you can point people to the photo help page, that'd be a great help, because there's like 2,000 figures we do not have in the archive, and most of them are in the last 10 years.
Great. All right. Sweet.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Back to it. Thanks again to TFU.info's Ant for coming on the show to talk about his experience at Toy Fair with us, and I think that about wraps it up for this week, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An overabundance of toy news.
Yes, we will have this current week to look over all the pictures that come out of Toy Fair, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say about them next week, after we've recovered from More Than Meets the Eye number 50. So until then, this is Jen.
And Alex.
And David.
Good night. I guess
I just thought of something else I wanted to ask, but...
Aw.
Too late.
It's something that doesn't need to be on the show. I was just going to ask, how many hits do you get from Providence, Rhode Island IP addresses?